1. And we are back. It is 2024, and Matt and I have made it back to our podcast, which I'm very excited about. How you doing, Matt?
I'm well. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Actually, we have not said Happy New Year to each other since we are now returning to this podcast that I have tried to escape from.
Yes.
But it haunts me.
Every time you get out, they try to pull you right
They
back.
pull me right back in. You know, I'm such a sucker for a compliment.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I had a friend, just one compliment. One compliment. I had one compliment that was, and it was somebody who was not my audience or demographic. That was like, good podcast, and I was like, and it was it's one of those types of things where you're like, blah blah blah. Oh really? All of a sudden I have time in my schedule. Tell me more about myself. But I wasn't happy with our name before, and I know you weren't happy, which I was impressed with why you say you didn't like the last podcast name. Because you were like, I don't like you speaking negatively about yourself. Yeah. Which is not how my my family is. They like keep talking bad about yourself. Continue. Yes, however, you forgot these things that are on the list that we were going to discuss about how screwed up you are.
If you're going to be negative, we have a few more options.
Yes, exactly. So as opposed to Maija doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, I found a new name for this podcast, Matt, because you told me I need to put my name in it, and he's being uniquely kind as a male co-host to say, no, you need to push yourself out, which I'm terrible at self-promotion. However, there's so many people who think that I'm all about self-promotion, and that I won't leave the house if I'm not dragged out of here. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, they use the jaws of life to get you out for some shows.
Yeah, exactly. So, and for me to put my name used to get me my ass whooped constantly as a kid. So I am not happy about the complications of the I and the J in my name.
Okay.
And so, yeah. But I was at the airport.
Yes.
And I was trying to get clear.
Oh, the pre-check.
Yeah, the pre-check. Because I didn't want to wait in line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Denver. Mm-hmm. The holiday's coming. It's a good time to do this, right? So I get in line, and I tell the lady, I got to catch a plane. I can't be too long. She said, it take you 5 minutes to sign up.
Oh, she was trying to sell it to you.
Which I was open for,
okay.
but so long it was quick. So she signed me up. It's going to be super fast. She's going to scan your eyes, and you're going to be able to catch that flight. So they scan my eyes, and they go, after signing up and paying $200 for it, it just goes down. All of a sudden, all the computers are down. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
No.
So now I'm like, I just paid $200, and I could have been in line. Yeah. I could have been at the gate on time, and now I got to wait for you guys to reboot.
Because then you got to go back through the line,
Yeah, the whole thing.
Jeez.
And so she actually says to me, the woman looks at me, she goes, Maija, behave. Now, had she been a man and said that, I would have missed the flight and got the guy fired. But as a black woman to go, Maija, behave, I thought it was pretty funny.
Sister to sister.
Sister to sister, I can respect that. I had a flashback of my childhood. As many times as my mother had told me, Maija, behave. And
sounds like some Aunt Marlene type.
Yeah, well, my mother was always behave, and I never behaved. Yeah. And that's pretty much the essence of my life, is me battling my own behavior, like knowing that I should be behaving, acutely aware of etiquette, what's proper, the classism in the family,
the boarding school,
the black bourgeoisie and the opera singers and the musical. We must be going to Juilliard, and you must learn to sing. I'm acutely aware of messing up and not behaving. Aside from the ass whoopings I've gotten my whole childhood. Yeah. But I'm like, it's just riddling through my body. I was like, good name for a podcast.
There you go. Yes. Sometimes you find them where you're never expecting them at a TSA pre-check line. Yes. Yeah.
I had to come up with something to keep myself from going ballistic that I spent $200 and couldn't even get through.
Yeah, I mean, like Hemingway had dive bars for his inspiration. You have pre-check.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, I have pre-check. There we go. But it was even crazier because now I finally get to I'm like, okay, well, at least I did this. Mm-hmm. I get on the plane, and now my next 3 gigs where I have to leave Denver, I go to Florida, I go back to Philadelphia, and then I come back into Florida, and then I come back to Los Angeles. None of them have clear.
Oh, none of those airports?
None of them.
No.
None of them.
LAX does it?
No, LAX does.
Okay, yeah.
Philadelphia
Doesn't?
doesn't.
That's a horrible.
West Palm Beach doesn't.
Well, that's a small one.
Yeah. Fort Myers,
That's small. That's too
regional,
small.
doesn't. And I'm just like, you know what? I want my money back.
Yeah, no.
I want my money back from all that I've spent.
Yes.
So I had to do that 2 hours of I want my money back, and they were good. They didn't give me trouble.
Did they give it back?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just go get the global entry. Or something.
Yeah. I gotta do that too. My buddy is the same way.
Painful.
Oh yeah. Or just fly out of Burbank.
The lines are crazy.
Just fly out of Burbank.
Can I?
Just fly. Only use Burbank.
Philadelphia was so bad.
Yeah.
It was like a ziggy zaggy. You would have thought it was like the ride at Universal on like free day for everyone in California.
You get in the line in New Jersey, actually. Yeah, and then they put a bridge over the thing. And then, I've used Philly Airport. It's PHL.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, though, when I was thinking of the new name, I was embarrassed to share, and I did speak to some millennials, and the millennials were like, I am so sick of men telling us to behave. I so relate to that. Go ahead, girl. Take that name.
All right.
And then I'm designing the logo, and I'm like, men are going to hate this. And one lady said, no, because they like to tell us to behave.
Yes.
I used it on a pervert, though, once. A guy that a respecting pervert. Yeah. You know how you have perverts that you have to respect in life? You know what I mean? You don't want to, but you have, you kind of snap to. And a respectable pervert, I just said, behave. And he was like, and it was perfect. It was perfect because he was like, oh, I am naughty. But he enjoyed his naughtiness. Yes. And then he went, oh, you're so right. And he ran away.
Yeah. And then he gave you a development deal. There we go.
Yes, this phrase is working well for me. Other than that, I've let go of being a blonde since we have last hung out.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah, you gave up on that one.
I gave up on it.
Yeah,
and
that's all right.
it was interesting because
I've given up on it too. Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
You have? Yes, I see your dark ends on your hair that are coming out. And it was funny too because I had somebody who actually said to me, it was like, I said, I'm back to my natural color. They said, well, welcome back to reality. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, sometimes you just get...
Have fun.
You get the free stuff. You get the free stuff.
Have fun. Blondes have more fun.
I guess. Yeah. And then everybody who's black is now like, I see it now. I get it. But dyeing my hair blonde, it's hard enough being beige and nobody believes you. And then you dye your hair blonde. There's plenty of people of color that have blonde hair, but everyone just, and it's weird because I get, come into the light. Let me look at you. Well, yes, you could be one of ours now.
Well, most of them were Dennis Rodman characters.
Yes,
too.
Exactly. So
you didn't look like Dennis Rodman.
I did not. Thank you. I didn't think you. I didn't think you were going there. Thank God. That was one of the things that had happened.
So Denver travel went well.
Denver was wonderful.
Yeah.
I love performing in Denver.
Yeah.
It's it's an improv. You can't get better than the improv chain.
Well, the Laugh Factory chain.
Well, yeah, but there's not like a lot of Laugh Factories. But I'm saying is like to go out on the road that you have to go.
Absolutely, it's great.
If it's not a Laugh Factory, which I won't leave the Laugh Factory.
It's got strong branding. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, they have a good menu. Yes. It's all about the menu for me. So
you're like, hey, would you like to work in Seattle? What's the appetizer selection like there?
I know. I'm bad. My reasoning for doing things.
They're good on fish there, right? Yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah.
Now you make me want to work in Seattle.
There you go.
I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, never thought about that. I don't ever work Seattle. I should think about it for the fish.
You're
the
welcome.
Fish selection is fabulous. I did Denver.
Yeah.
And then I got to go to New Jersey.
Got to. You got to go. You had the
Philadelphia. I did my Jersey Italian run, which
Jersey
was
Mike's.
It was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah. And I discovered I sell so many of my T-shirts, my merchandise of my You Stupid brand.
Oh, coming back, like recycling back, or you saw them because they bought them the first time.
New Jersey, everybody says You Stupid. You stupid, and they get it.
Yeah.
But everywhere else, they see You Stupid with a double O, and they think you just spelt it wrong. So they just missed the whole thing. So that was lovely. And then I was in
people in New Jersey don't even notice it's misspelled.
They don't. It's not. That's how they say it. This is Oklahoma over here making fun of New Jersey. We know exactly that's what it means.
Yeah,
it's intent. It's intent.
Just being cute.
I've had a lot of crazy stuff since we've hung out. I was at the Laugh Factory in down in Long Beach.
Oh yeah,
one day and walked in the back to see Katrina, the GM.
Yeah.
And,
oh, she's great.
And
she's sweet.
And Shang was in there.
Oh yeah.
And there was a third comic in there. It was a white guy. I always consider him very nice, but he's saying something about me when I walk in, and then I love Katrina. And I love the Laugh Factory staff. In Long Beach, they are just absolute for real. Have your back.
She's great.
So I walk in and he says, "Oh, well, I didn't mean it like that." She goes, "Well, go ahead, tell her what you said." And I go, "Huh?" And he goes, "Well, I said, you got a lot of energy. You're like really like you got big energy on stage, you know." And she said, "No, why don't you use? You need to use.
Tell her what you
said." And he goes, "Well, I said you have more testosterone than me." So I said, Matt's choking over it. I said I have more testosterone, and it was a strange moment.
If it's the one who I think it is, I would probably agree with that.
The comedy slithers on and talks like this. No, I'll tell you what. So, anyways, his more sister, and then Katrina and Shang was like, how do you feel about that statement? And it was so funny because this guy is sitting there like blushing, and I'm like, it's fine. That usually means when it's another male comic that I'm funnier than them. So I can take it, but two ways that I take that. Are you okay? You okay? So there's two ways I take it. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, well, I consider it racist and sexist. And she's like, well, and Katrina, who's assistant, was like, how is that? How do you see it? What do you mean? I said, well, one, when you're raised by strong black women, they teach you to be strong and don't be scared of your own presence.
Yeah, don't be a kitty cat about things.
Yeah. Then that's known to be intimidating. And that's always been assigned the idea of like a manliness. That's why Sojourner Truth was saying, ain't I a woman? I have to do the same stuff as you have to do. So why should I kowtow and shrink myself because of you?
Okay.
So that is often misconstrued in that way. And I consider that a racist statement. But at the same time, it's also a sexist statement that I can't match you. So both of those things have been, so needless to say, it's really funny because I had to work with that comic a couple times. Matt's choking. I've had to work with that comic a couple times. And it's so funny because I keep forgetting, because he's one of those white comics that I can't tell. You're dying over there. He's turning purple.
Here we go.
He's turning purple.
Sorry about that. Here we go. Yes, I'm back.
But it's like one of those comedians, too, that I can't even tell. Like, you walk in and I'm like, I thought, are you the same dude that said that? Like, and that's when, you know that this was an interesting, accurate conversation of like, because he is so not who I remember, that I'm not even sure. I can't really differentiate him between like three other white male comics.
I mean, a lot of those white guys, they all look alike.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
They got the skinny jeans.
They got the skinny, especially in LA. The white guys, they're gonna make me choke.
There you go. Low testosterone.
Yes, a very low T. All looks alike.
Yeah.
That's what it is. The low T looks alike.
Well, we're gonna find him sponsors for his podcast
with low T. Exactly. All of a sudden, he's got all these
Florida health clinics. Here we go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
He was kind of slamming himself. It
was a little weird. It was a little weird.
But
if he didn't slam,
tell her what you said.
He just walked into that.
Tell the people what you said.
Exactly.
God, that's so funny.
I love them.
Yeah. And I could sure Shang was probably just refereeing this, and he's just like, "All right, coming out of the left corner." Ding, ding, ding,
he
ding,
loved
ding.
it. Shang was just sitting there, like in his chair with a grin on his face, waiting, knowing this guy was about to set himself up.
Yeah, he's great. He was going to go into boxing announcer mode.
We got to get him on the show one day. I love Shang.
Yeah.
I was at Hugo's for breakfast in West Hollywood.
Around the corner. Yeah.
It's a very famous place. It's a good breakfast place for people who are trying to eat healthy.
That's right.
A lot of industry goes there. A lot of industry.
Yeah.
But it was strange.
And you were there.
I was there. Yeah. I was there. And I ran into Jamie Masada.
Yeah.
And Ruben Paul and a whole bunch of people. So every time I go there, there's some big shot in there.
So who books that place?
Who books that?
Yeah.
Whoever feels like eating healthy breakfast.
All right. Yeah.
They're the best vegan bacon they have vegan. I haven't tasted it. If you're going to spend probably twice the price as regular bacon to order vegan bacon, I'm eating pork.
Just chew some bark off a tree.
Yeah, it's very strange.
That's vegan.
So, but I was sitting there, and it was very funny because sitting in West Hollywood, and you sit outside, and I don't people watch because I'm self-involved, and or there's bacon on my plate, and I'm in love with the food, and I'm having a conversation.
You bacon watch.
Yeah, bacon watch.
Yeah, fair.
Looking at the dishes that go by. I don't look at people. That's what I noticed about myself.
What are they having?
Yeah, I look at what everyone else is having.
Yeah.
And I look at the dogs in the restaurant.
Yeah, it could be Bradley Cooper, and you're just like, oh, what kind of omelet is that?
Dude, I did that once. I told you the time I was talking to Bradley Cooper and was like, ugh, this guy. And everyone's like, I guess Bradley Cooper. I was like, oh, oops. I'm the worst Hollywood person.
Yeah, Hugo's.
Hugo's.
You look at dogs. You look at food.
I look at dogs. Yeah. I look at food.
Yeah.
I'm the worst Hollywood person.
Hugo's.
Hugo's.
You look at dogs. You look at food.
I look at dogs. Yeah. I look at food.
Yeah.
I have little stick legs and a giant fake butt. It's
like a blow pop kind of thing.
You gotta either that or let them build up the leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just. It was the weirdest stick leg with giant ass. And then in that moment, I thought of like, wow, it does look like if Carol Burnett had put on a fake ass. And then I realized, I have some friends that like to correct what I say on podcasts and what I say in clubs. You get those too? And one of them would be like, you can't say Carol Burnett because, a lot of the young kids, they don't know who Carol Burnett is. So you need to come up with something different. And, I like to reference really great art.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and when I was a kid, most of the things I was taught to reference that my mother it made sure I studied were most of them were people who were dead before I was born. Yeah. But it was great art. Yeah. I'm tired of having to dumb down something that people don't know. When these kids actually have Google, they can look it up fast. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when I was in 5th grade, I had like Ellington albums. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to Duke Ellington. It wasn't albums or CDs, but I mean, I was listening to Ellington. And everyone's like, well, he wasn't even alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So why should we
his art mattered.
Why? Why should we be coddling ignorance? Yeah. I have a guy who's like, you were talking about Nat King Cole, and maybe you can compare him to Drake. And I'm like, I'm like, why? And
it's. Drake's not horrible.
Drake's not horrible. He's Nat King Cole. How do you put Nat King Cole? Look, and I feel like, thank God for Christmas, because if it wasn't for Christmas music, people might not know who Nat King Cole is, but they'll know the song, okay? And if you don't know, then how about this? Expand your horizons and Google them. Google great artists. Yeah. Imagine if we went to museums. And you're like, oh, we're at the Louvre, but I'm not looking at Mona Lisa because it's old. Yeah. I'm not going to look at the old Mona Lisa. Let's go around the corner, and there's like a guy who did like a graffiti sketch on the side of the wall because it was done yesterday. So let's get rid of the Parthenon. The Parthenon was an old building. You can't throw an event in it, so you can't even hashtag Parthenon because it's old.
Yeah, we don't need the pyramids. We have a Supreme store.
Yeah, exactly. So we get Lululemon. So why would we bother? Keeping the pyramids up. How about this? Go learn something. Why are we coddling stupidity? We have the world coddles stupidity, and because a bunch of people and they don't want to teach your kids something. Yeah. And then you got to sit there and you got to be like, no, I'm not changing my reference. Yeah. This badass was on Carol Burnett's skinny legs and looked like it was a sketch from a. So you know what? If you want to learn something great, you want to know great comedy, Google her. If you don't know her. Google her. Yeah. AI, I'm sure, has a long history of who she is.
Carol Burnett just released an AI special.
Oh, yeah. Okay, because George Carlin did an AI special, and he's not even alive. Yeah. Okay, so tell me about the AI special. Did you watch the AI?
I watched 30 seconds.
You watched 30 seconds?
Yes.
Oh, my God. So, look, and as two people who are SAG, we do not appreciate AI, but I am secretly finding some amazing AI is saving my life on numerous fronts. I'm having to get rid of people left and right that I used to have to spend a fortune on, and I love them. Now we just have to we have to be friends as opposed to business associates, or you got to find a new way to fit in, fit in. Mm-hmm. You got to find a way to fit in and get in. I don't know. This is supposed to be a rhyme. I can't remember it. But see, this is what happens when you don't have a cocktail before the show.
I mean,
one of these shows we're going to do
so
on a quarter margarita.
Oh, Lord.
What a wild woman I am. A quarter margarita.
A 3-hour podcast. Here we go.
So tell me about the AI thing.
All right, this is from Vice News. The George Carlin AI stand-up is worse than you can imagine. An AI-assisted podcast released a new comedy special featuring an AI-generated version of late comedian George Carlin, and it's worse than you could possibly imagine. The cursed hour-long special is the work of Dudesy, a podcast hosted by Will Sasso and Chad Colkin. Will Sasso, actually, I know him. He's got a good name.
No question, did he write the jokes and then AI said them? Or did AI write the joke?
I think they gave him topics, and say hey, write a joke about immigration in George Carlin's voice.
Oh, and then have George Carlin's video say it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah.
But here's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I know that AI isn't that funny.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to it.
Yeah.
Have you talked to AI?
I get stuck on things.
You go on Chatbox and you be like, hey, give me 5 jokes. And then it's like, this is a joke. You're like, oh my God. AI does dad jokes.
Yeah, Laffy Taffy jokes.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
They're more like riddles.
Yeah.
What happens when you take 2 eggs and hide the third one in your ass? No. Oh, I can't say ass. What does that make me? A chicken? Oh, AI. You know what we should do? Let's resurrect Richard Pryor and put it in his act.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you actually met George Carlin, Yeah, and you had this. What do you think he would feel about this?
God. He would just, Carlin was so real.
Yeah.
So to take something fake and try something that is clearly so
the genuine article of the genuine article. Stand-up comedy is
he
kind
is
of
the most unique, the most unique voice in the.
Yeah.
Because he's free, because he was a guy that never lied to himself.
Yeah.
And we live in a society of people who 95% of the time lie to themselves and don't even know they're lying to themselves because we're too busy to spend time with ourselves.
Well, yeah, he did the common what are it called, like the mainstream stuff, and he was just like, ugh, empty. And
he said he laid underneath the piano and read off the sticker because he realized he couldn't lie anymore.
Yeah.
It was at the Copacabana. He said that's when it snapped for him.
Yeah.
And then he tanked his entire career because he couldn't lie. Mm-hmm. So now you got this AI trying to yuck. Oh my gosh, that's so painful.
Hack jokes too.
Yeah, I looked up. I saw Kelly Carlin was like, "Please stop."
Yeah,
please.
I watched 30 seconds, and the first 30 seconds was him saying, "This is AI," or whatever. Like, this is not really me. And I was like,
no. Like you would open an act that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that guy was a master.
It was
a master.
Sorry, I just remember what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's great.
Go ahead.
That's great.
Yeah. The other podcast.
Oh, crazy. So what else were we talking about? Yeah. I had a great show. Great. Oh, you want to go there?
I mean,
you're ready. You're picking stuff off my topics.
If you were looking
okay,
for topics,
so you saw the Cat Williams. What was your thought on Cat?
I watched the hell out of it. I sat there and I was laughing my ass off. I mean, it was. I mean, I as a comedian, I was just like, he was going on guys that had like pristine images. You know what I mean? And he was also saying things that I had said before, just in friend, like you and I had said, or not you and I necessarily, but like
I never said. Don't get me in trouble.
No.
Kevin Hart's gonna be like, what? What'd you say?
It was things that had been said in every green room, not necessarily negative, but some of them were like, oh, I heard this, and blah blah blah. But he was Cat's first one to put it out there.
I kind of like what you just said about green room because it's like you never really hear what's really. I mean, I know that
it's like a football locker room.
It was like what it really sounds like in a comic's head, and usually you don't get that.
Yeah,
You get it. We get it when you're stuck in a car with somebody driving home after a gig, and they go on for an hour because comics. The reason why we became comedians is because we don't let go of stuff.
Yeah.
So we will monologue for an hour on somebody. Yeah. It's amazing. It was as short as it was.
Oh yeah, I think it was 2 hours and 2 hours and 45 minutes.
It was. You know what's amazing because it was so. You couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah. Oh, especially as a comedian.
Yeah, you could be standing for waiting on a bus or something and be, your Uber drive up like, wait, I got to take the next one. Like it just made you stop absolutely everything because it's so refreshing to hear truth.
Yeah.
And
it was unfiltered.
It was unfiltered.
and Cat has the inability to BS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But it was kind of interesting though. I had one friend. We are both friends with that one friend, and I will bring this up because it's every time I bring up the one friend, he probably knows where I'm going because I'm like, well, I have one friend who's a female that used to be a comic. That said,
I've been talking to her.
Yeah. Have you been talking to her? Yeah. So she's had a really interesting point though. She's like, I was triggered by it, and I said, how are you triggered by that? And she said, you know what? There's so many comedians like. I don't think people understand how hard it is to be a comedian and how much work you do, how many hours you do of like, and decades of not being paid properly.
Yeah.
And then a random thing will happen. It's almost like I'm going to drop a $100 bill off of a rooftop, and whoever gets it becomes the comedian who gets 11 specials.
Yeah, it's like the bride throwing the groom throwing the bride's garter belt.
It is so, but no, there's not that many people.
The bouquet of flowers.
It's not even that many people because there's usually like 6 bridesmaids or like 20 people there. They catch it.
Yeah.
But could you imagine if you dropped a $100 bill? You know, off of the fake Empire State Building
like
at
Yankee
New York,
Stadium or
you know,
something. Yeah.
And whoever got it became the successful superstar.
Yeah.
Because it's not even about level of work or quality, because you know there are guys that I'm going, oh my god, really, like really, and they're comics, and I understand this too, because and I don't like to get into the female top comedy type thing, but there's so many great female comics, and it's like you only like not even a fraction of them are allowed by, not even a fraction are allowed to get in position. It's and you know so it's very, very frustrating, and they're comics that have like been on the road, that have like had guys that like will rape them or attempted rape or beat them up, and you know, and then they get, you know, well, we don't want that story to ever come out, so we disappear you, regardless. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So it's hard to watch. She was saying it was hard to watch someone say, well, I have these credentials because I have all these specials. You know, the fact is, when you're in the game and you're surviving in the game and you're killing in the game and people are loving your work, but because you don't have a certain amount of followers, or you don't have a certain agent, or you don't have the one
right
deal
management.
that came together. You know, that's hard, and I do get that, and I think that is right.
Yeah, I mean, there's the other thing about Cat Williams was he's always kind of had like a real independent mindset, because he was saying that it was like, I was never the guy that fit on sitcoms. I was. I made my money off touring. You know, is how he always put it. You know, it's just like. And I self-produced my own tours because I didn't want to lend people money and have them, you know, come back at me. So I just financed my own stuff, you know. And I was just, I did appreciate that part.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that I appreciated. I think because there's a lot of, you know, it's hard, especially in this town, is that people don't appreciate the truth, and
it could be unnerving for a lot
it's
of
unnerving
people.
Because you're like, man, like you do what's, you know, because what happens is if you do something that's really not cool, I mean, there's a couple comics that kind of get canceled.
Upset the apple cart.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
but it's not about even getting canceled. There's things that people have done that are like, they should have at least gotten like, you know,
jail time.
Well, like at least Monopoly jail time. Just like you got to sit down while somebody else gets 2-3 spins around the board. Do you know what I mean?
Little timeout.
A little timeout. Yeah. So many comics should have had a timeout, and then that allows for some new opportunity. Yeah. As opposed to being such a boys club. Yeah. You know. So, and that's why. But I do. Oh man, I love it and I appreciate it. And I think though, if more truth came out, and people really presented themselves who they are, then there'd be more opportunities.
There's been so many reactions to everybody. Everybody's made their own video based on it. And because he brought up everybody, and it was like Steve Harvey got it the worst.
Oh, well, he did. But that whole thing about Bernie, man, that's messed up. Like,
try to like undercut him on Ocean's 11.
Wow. Yeah. Poor Bernie. We love Bernie. Yeah, everybody loves Bernie. You know.
I ain't scared. I ain't afraid of you, more.
Yeah. Or Bernie.
I ain't afraid of you, more.
Yeah, that guy was ridiculous. Because you know what? If you were Def Jam, you would be afraid of him. Yeah. You'd be afraid of that room. Like, that's when he did it on that Def Jam. That was where that was. Yeah. It's hilarious.
I'm keeping it clean for it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. So that was that. Oh, you know, and it was weird because it made me. I watched it going into Batavia.
Yeah.
I landed in Chicago.
Yeah.
I love this club. It's called Comedy Vault.
Yeah.
I love the owners. Mm-hmm. They will inspire you, spoil you. I mean, I ate lamb chops.
They came and hung out with you in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, I had to do a show in Wisconsin. They drove all the way to Wisconsin, picked me up, and kidnapped me, put me in a hotel. We ran around and had a blast. And they're actually like, come back. Yeah. Just fly back to do a podcast. Yeah. We'll fly you back. Yeah. They're the coolest people. Yeah. And then when I got there the first day,
they were the dunk tape people. I forgot that frozen tank.
Yeah, they dumped me in the cryo freezing. Yeah. It was fun. Right. It was fun. Yeah.
I'll save those for you. I don't want to take your spots on those.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it was interesting because I got to Batavia, and that's when I had a Comedy Vault. We had a situation there.
Ooh, yeah.
With a comic. And it was just kind of like, man, after, I think they got all hyped up after listening to Kat, where they were like, well, that comic can't do a bunch of your jokes before you get on stage. And I was like, wait, no, it's okay. It happens. And they're like, no, it does not happen. Matt is dying. It's like, no. And they, and I said, look, everybody be calm. We'll go to brunch. Go to brunch. Yeah. And I'm like, look, I can work around.
Brunches can resolve everything if
it's resolvable.
Yeah, if Israel and Hamas just went to a brunch, it would be, that could probably.
And I tried, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why I always felt about the Norwegian cruises. Yeah. I said, if Norwegian pulled up to the UN.
Yeah.
And picked up all the world leaders. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the world leaders all climbed on the boat, including Putin.
Yeah.
And they all got like all-inclusive drink passes.
Yeah, like bottomless mimosas, that kind of
thing.
Yeah.
And they would not
some cantaloupe, some fruit, some grapes, good times.
And there would not able to port until they could straighten it out. That would be fantastic. Matt is dying. Matt is dying on these. He's in here choking to death.
So you tried to get everybody together for a brunch,
they wanted to do
brunch, a peace brunch.
No, not everybody. The owners were like, we want to talk to you about your trying to be too nice to people.
Okay.
And it's not fair to you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, it's okay, because I'm so used to being beat up in this business. I'm like, it's all right. I'll just come up with new jokes if the feature that I brought with me is going to do some of mine. I just have to really pay attention to the jokes that she's doing.
Yeah, it's really bad. Whatever the feature's doing biracial material. Yeah, that's
especially because she's white.
Yeah.
She likes to do a lot of black material too. It's really weird. It's like, that's not your joke. That's my joke. Yeah. Did a whole bunch of them.
I believe you.
My coochie rejuvenation. Wow. Neuroelectoral votes and teeth.
Yeah.
I was like, man, and I didn't even pay attention to most of the act because I was having to leave the room because I didn't want to spoil my appetite. I was about to have something to eat.
Yeah.
And so that was the audience was not happy. The club was like, that person seemed like they were real hyped up, a little off balance. And then they took me out and they gave me the Maija, we have to do what's right here. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I don't know. I feel bad. And you know how I get. I'm such a mush.
You sound, you sound like the voice Peppy would make.
That's how I am. No, my dog does never. My dog never uses the voice of pity.
Yeah, no,
my dog uses the voice of demand.
Yeah.
All
right.
But then I went home. I went back to the hotel room, and then they said, well, we're gonna handle this because we don't like it, and we run the club, and we want to. If we're a new club, we want to add to the comedy world and make it a better environment. And it's a good lesson to learn that a club owner might be saying, hey, we recognize some of your stuff, right? Yeah. So, and then of course I was like, okay. And then they did it. And then I got, how dare you? You're the one who hid behind the club and it was all your doing. You were trying to fire me. I don't know why. And you made the club do it. And I was like,
yeah, I'm going to bring you all the way to Chicago just to mess with you.
Yeah, exactly. So
she's out of her mind.
Okay. So anyway,
sorry,
but it's nice. It is nice to have club owners that care.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because it is hard. And I was talking to that comic about the Cat Williams thing, and what I was saying is it is hard. It is hard. Like the comics that have really brought me up, saying I was stuffing them in their ass before the show, those kinds of things, those comics. And then you say something that, most owners don't care, but some of them are like, you know what, that's not cool.
Yeah.
And that's very, very rare.
Yeah.
So that's why I love Laugh Factory, because they take care of you. Yeah. So those are some of the things that have happened in my last 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days, and you wonder why I don't want to leave the house. It's stuff like this, Yeah. But I'm leaving. So you got news stories.
Yeah, I got news stories for you. I'll go start with entertainment.
Start with entertainment.
All right, this is from Variety Magazine. Julia Roberts says, not doing nude scenes is a choice I made for myself. Says being famous now is too cluttered and exhausting. Julia Roberts was interviewed for a Vogue UK fashion spread by her Notting Hill director, Richard Curtis, who asked the Oscar winner if she feels responsibility to other women when choosing her movie roles as an A-list star for well over 3 decades. Do you ever think I'm representing something, Curtis asked Roberts? I think it would be more to the point the things I choose not to do are representative of me. Roberts answered, that noting that my G-rated career is an example. I'll give you one. Not to be criticizing others' choices, but for me to take off my clothes in a movie or be vulnerable in physical ways is a choice that I guess I make for myself. Robert said about how she's chosen to represent herself, but in effect, I'm choosing not to do something as opposed to choosing to do something.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
Is that, this tells you, this is a lot about, this is interesting piece because about the business. Because now we have artists that will take off their clothes and they're not even doing a movie role. Like, it's like, I'm just singing a song that I wrote myself. And so now I'm going to get nude. I appreciate it though.
Yeah.
And it's
I mean, she's being true to herself too.
well, look, I had my old manager used to say, I can't send you up for any role, so I'm not going to send you up for any acting. And I said, why? He goes, because you won't take off your clothes, and no one's going to hire you unless you take off your clothes.
Yeah, it's very like 80s, 90s, early 2000s even. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to take off your clothes, otherwise they're never going to cast you, and no agent's going to send you out. And I'm the type of person that grew up with dancers. I grew up in a dance studio, not strippers. Tap dance, ballet studios where people are always changing in front of. I don't even change in front of people at the yoga studio. Okay, and I grew up with dancers. Dancers will just like strip naked and change because they got to change because they got stuff going on between numbers.
That's part of the reason I became a dancer.
Yes. I know you have a tendency to do that, which is thank God we're doing a podcast and it's cold in Los Angeles. Yeah. But yeah, so I appreciate somebody holding it down because what? There's a lot of great actresses, a lot of great roles, and they don't require you taking off your clothes.
Yeah. And she's like I said, she's 30, 40 years an A-lister. You know what I mean? And if she wants to, it's on her terms. You know what I mean? It's not like she's
a superstar, so you can't even compare because I think now it's like you take off your clothes and you can't succeed. Yeah. Like shouldn't they just make you do this? I just make every guy do this, and someone be I don't know, is it a comedy?
I did see. Was it? I didn't watch it because it was nudity, but it was the Jennifer Lawrence one. And she's like a double Oscar winner, and she went full nude in it.
Well, maybe because that's how she was raised.
Also, maybe she just felt like doing it. Maybe
she was raised.
It was a comedy movie. It was like a Seth Rogen type movie, but it was
maybe that was her background. I'm not that person. I don't like to take off my clothes in front of anything or anybody. And then if somebody asked me that, as opposed to wanting to see my work, I would be like, what?
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that if a woman doesn't want to do it, don't do it.
How about be a creative filmmaker? Yeah. And you could be a creative filmmaker and you don't have to show everything. They show everything. You look at Netflix now. They got it every time somebody's being chopped up or butchered up. They're like, let's get a quick, long shot of that butchered brain, and then we cut back to the actors.
It's so many death documentaries.
It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let's show another body. Yeah. Another body. This is fantastic. Let's focus on the gore. Whereas back then they used to be like, oh, you still get the same emotions. You can still get the same emotions.
Subtle. Yeah.
Well, no, this was okay. So there was a guy which was Eisenstein. The great Russian filmmaker, very early on. And Eisenstein had an experiment, which was everybody discussed, which changed the whole history of filmmaking because it was reaction. So if they had like a shot of a woman's face, and then they had like something happy that happened, they cut back to it, and then it looked like she was smiling, and then you cut to a shot of like a dead baby, and then they cut back to her face, and it looked like she was crying. Yeah. But it's the same reaction because it's an imposed reaction. Film does that psychologically. So if you're really a good filmmaker, you can create anything you want without having to be blatant about it and hit you over the face. But now we got this AI and everything. They want everything with no subtleties. Right now it is helping my art, but soon it might ruin some art. Like you can't replace Carlin.
Yeah, it's stupid. I mean, it's like when they had like Tupac at Coachella.
Can't they make some AI boobs?
Yeah. What?
They make AI everything else. They can make, AI some boobs on her. How about this? It's Julia Roberts, but I'm going to AI her boobs.
Yeah,
she's going to be AI naked, AI ass, and just put it in.
Yeah, she's doing porn now.
Yeah, she can do, you can do that. Yeah, so, how about that? Yeah, you can AI me for the nude scenes.
Yeah, you could have presidential candidates starring in porn scenes.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you can get that now
that's what's going to come. That's what's going to happen in this election cycle.
The Trump-Russia tape gets released from the hotel. Yeah. Now that's going to be a comedy.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Anyway, All right, coming up next, also from Variety Magazine, Kevin Hart says he won't host the Oscars again. Award shows aren't comedy-friendly environments anymore. Kevin Hart has reiterated that he will not host the Oscars again. Hart was due to host the 2019 Oscars, but stepped down after an outcry over previous anti-gay tweets and comments he'd made during stand-up routines a decade ago. He later told Variety that he'd never do it again and is sticking to his stance. Speaking to Sky News, Hart said, "Whatever hope you had, I want to destroy it right now. Those gigs aren't good for comics. It's no shot to the Oscars, no shot to the Globes or anything. Those aren't just comedy-friendly environments anymore. I think they got it right one year when it was just a bunch of personalities acting as the host, and that's a nice thing. It's a collaborative thing. Different people get to be responsible for Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. But you know, the days of being in a room for a comic, those days are done."
I say he is absolutely 100% wrong.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
Billy
All right.
Crystal could host those award shows because he had the chops.
Yeah.
Okay, so nowadays, and I love Kevin. I love his work ethic. It's not but some comics are not built for that kind of show.
Fair.
If somebody wants to, for
Yeah.
free, ask me to host Oscars, I can get up there and do sing, dance, tap,
Yeah.
silliness.
Yeah.
That's a level of showmanship.
Yeah.
And I think that what happened was, for so long, the curve was set a different way, and then they started casting comics because they just had a following, and they would stand up there, and
was stiff.
it's so monologue based. It's not about having a great show
Yeah.
that pulls people in, and not a lot of comedians are built that way.
True.
So how about this? It's not about the comics.
Yeah.
It's about your style of comedy.
Yeah.
It's about how you're built. If you're a kind of comedian that you go in and you're bop, 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 bop in the same cadence,
Yeah.
you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
If you are someone who can run all
Yeah.
over the place and jump
Yeah.
up and down and do a billion characters and act outs and this and that, I think
Yeah.
you will be absolutely fine. And not only that, you got to get the right writers.
Yeah.
They forget.
Oh, he didn't
how
have his right-
much,
yeah.
How much
Yeah.
that if you get a bunch of guys that are monologue guys
Mm-hmm.
that are built to snap on people,
Yeah.
then your whole show is going to be negative snaps. It might even be
Contentious.
jokes.
Yeah.
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 You have to pick the right jokes. But this is all coming down to agents.
Mm-hmm.
This is all coming down to who's pushing what, as opposed to and agents who pick comedians because of a lane that they fit. But might not even know so much about really comedy, because you have comics, they get boxed out if you don't have you have 20,000 followers. So
Yeah.
or you have you can even be famous, but are they selecting
Yeah.
the right comics? Is because it's a favor from someone else? I think that they're picking the wrong comics. So
Well, I mean, like, I always felt Chris was really good at Oscars. He's not going to do it again. I'm 99% sure. But he was one of those guys who great stand up, but also could work that room. You know?
I think he could work the room because people
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
But I think I miss Billy Crystal. I miss
Billy Crystal was
the
great.
Whoopi Goldberg. I miss that level
Yeah.
of great
Yeah.
live performers. Not great comedians.
Yeah.
Great live performers that have some level of being broad.
Yeah.
And that are broad enough to know how to perform.
Yeah.
And you know what? They brought comedy to a space that is now anti-performance.
Yes.
So now we have comedians, and if you have, if you accidentally slip into a character or you're expressive,
Yeah.
they tell you you're not a real comedian.
Yeah.
The only way you can be a real comedian is if you stand there and you just talk like that. When comedy was in its golden
Yeah.
age,
Yeah.
you had comics that would sit and talk like this, and you have comics that
Yeah.
were like Kinnison.
Which is, Lenny Bruce is great, but
no,
yeah,
but
no.
a Stephen Wright.
I'm
And
agreeing
so-
with you. I'm agreeing.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
I've had friends that have done that. Like I remember I was talking to Chappelle, who actually said to me once, he said, we were talking about Carmichael, and he's like,
Yeah.
well, he does it right. I said, well, he was like, he might sound like me in a lot of ways, but he does it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what do you mean he does it right? What about the comics who don't do it like you? There's a billion comedians that don't do it like you, and they're still getting laughs.
Yeah.
But I think we have these agencies and the people who are picking specials, and
Yeah.
they have this thing that if you move, if you express yourself,
Yeah.
then you're not a real comedian
Yeah.
because you're supposed to be there like a relaxation exercise and monologue with zero expression and talk this way, and that's the only thing. But then you want to give them a job hosting the Oscars
But they can't
or
do
the
that
Golden
you can't
Globes.
do that for like 3 hours. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that.
Yeah.
You're in a room full
Yeah.
of performers.
Yeah.
You're in a room full of people who were theater people and
Yeah.
musical people, and you got musical score, and you got an orchestration,
Yeah.
and you have you have so much access to create comedy in an award show environment. But the comics that are getting the opportunities are taught. They're not trained like Eddie Murphy with a multiple range. And they're not even nurtured to do that.
No.
We had shows that we used to do at the Improv, and we had song and dance and characters and this and that, and the audience loved it. And you know what? They could care less. They were like, "Can we bring the girl in who's going to do 20 minutes on her vagina?" And she went on. She got no laughs. And then the club goes, "Well, we don't really care for your show. The show is the Improv. That's what the Improv was about." You know the piano on the stage at the Improv in New York?
Yeah, the Bud Friedman.
Bud Friedman. Do you know the piano that was on the Improv stage in New York was the piano that Charlie Smalls wrote the Wiz musical on?
Oh, wow.
So there was a history of cabaret and showmanship. And you can't expect these what is getting the jobs enough to put you in position to do that special. To do that. You can't take an auto-tune guy and then try to expect him to kill at the Super Bowl. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like they may be great at autotunes, and there's no diss on anybody else.
No.
It's just it's a different animal. You don't teach dogs cat tricks. Do you know what I mean? So, geez, it's like, and so he's going to make that statement, and then great, no one's going to come in and hire anybody, and I'm never going to get to host an award show. All right. So anyway, next topic.
All right. You want to keep entertainment? Or what do you want? I got entertainment, I got sports, I got mainstream as news, and then I got the silly stuff.
Whatever you feel like saying.
All right. From page 6, this is somebody who used to hang out with my family.
Oh.
Yeah. Gary Busey stares at paparazzi as he pulls down pants and seemingly relieves himself in public. The actor, 79, Gary Busey has done it again. The actor, 79, drops his pants in public to seemingly relieve himself in a bush near a newsstand in Malibu, California, Thursday.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that's basically it. I'm impressed that people actually recognized who was Gary Busey. No, but okay, so he's continuing his old tricks. Okay, well that's fine. I mean, let him do what he does.
Yeah,
let him do what he does.
Busey's going to Busey.
Busey's got a Busey, exactly. They should give out a Busey award.
Yeah.
The greatest artist that's of.
He's in his own genre. He's in his own lane.
They should give out. That would probably be great if they gave out the Busey awards.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
if
great.
somebody was like completely crass.
Yeah.
And did something, the artist of the year, and the Busey award goes to.
Yes.
Thank you. I've tried so hard to.
The guy standing in front of shrubs.
Yes, I tried so hard to try to shock and appall, my neighbors, and this was very, very difficult. Yeah. A lot of competition this year. Yeah. A lot of competition.
Now, true story. Busey, being from Tulsa, Oklahoma, my stepdad used to street race with him. In the 60s.
And then they'd pee on the trees afterwards.
That's how they set the finish line, actually. Yes, was the...
That's really cool. I had no idea about that. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
all right.
was,
so he's from Tulsa.
Yeah, man. That's...
You can't take you can't take the Tulsa out of the Tulsinian.
Yeah, a lot of head trauma there.
Matt's going to go outside and pee right after the show.
Yeah, that's how I find where I parked.
Okay,
absolutely.
exactly. Great.
Also, page 6 here.
Yes.
We were just talking about her on the way up. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce plan to get engaged this summer, sources say.
Well, good for her.
It might not be such a cruel summer for Taylor Swift. A source tells page 6 that there's buzz around Swift's camp that the cruel summer singer and her star beau, Travis Kelce, plan to get engaged this summer. There are rumors the pair held off from having Kelce pop the question over the winter holidays because they don't want it to seem like it's rushed insanity.
Well, I appreciate somebody in entertainment worrying about something seeming like it's rushed insanity. It feels like the entire business is nothing but rushed insanity. That's like a perfect. I love that. That's what we're renaming the podcast.
Rushed
insanity.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I think everything is rushed insanity, and good for her. Maybe it'll be a Hollywood thing that lasts, and she won't end up like the Hollywood stars of or the music stars of husband number 62.
Oh, Elizabeth Taylor kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Well, you know what? As I've had enough fiascos dating, it's better to leave a bad marriage than stay in it. Even the kids are like, please, really? You're traumatizing me.
Yeah.
You're really going to stay in this? Can we just move on?
All right. Now I do have to ask one question.
Yes.
Did your Giants play the Chiefs this year?
I don't remember. I think so. Did they?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Yes.
Because
no, I don't think so.
If you've ever watched a game where Taylor Swift was at it,
No,
she was the third team.
Yeah. Oh, that's very.
I mean,
funny.
it was so much TV coverage.
That is so funny.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like it was. They would just keep
I
cutting.
remember that.
They would just
I
keep
remember
cutting.
that.
They would keep cutting away to her.
Yeah.
And like my friends were just like, I'm done.
They want the female audience. They're like,
but-
she's gonna be there, and
Yeah.
all the women are like, what is she wearing? It's like, what is she wearing? Oh my God, look at her. She's supporting her man. So cute. It's adorable.
There's a team from Seattle at the Taylor show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. The TV was happy. The advertisers were happy. You know, the guys who bought that show were excited.
Oh yeah.
Every time they
NFL.
bought in, they were like, woohoo.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ratings bump, absolutely, but it was
Well, good for her.
Yeah, I mean, she never played anyway.
That's okay. She had rushed insanity, and she's handled it beautifully.
All right, got another sports one for you.
Okay,
this
keep
is
going.
from Sports Illustrated yesterday.
Yes.
Carmelo Anthony says Nuggets giving Nikola Jokic number 15 jersey was a petty maneuver. Former NBA star Carmelo Anthony raised eyebrows on Thursday after some comments he made about the Nuggets and star center Nikola Jokic during the latest episode of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast. Anthony played 19 seasons in the NBA, first 8 with the Nuggets, voiced complaint about the franchise, quick to offload his number 15 jersey to Jokic.
See, this is what happens. This is the collateral damage of the Cat Williams podcast. Everyone who's got sore feelings is got to be like, you know what happened to me? I was at number 5. I was 5th online at McDonald's, and they gave my fries to somebody else, and they're hating on me. And so, like, oh my God, the whole world has gone mad after the cat thing, you know. And I appreciate the voicing of truth, but sometimes your truth isn't necessarily the truth.
And now black men are going to seek therapy. Here we go.
You're stupid. You're stupid.
I mean, like, Jokic is a 2-time MVP. It was just like, and he wore 15 whenever he was in Serbia.
yeah,
So it was so petty. It was just
I
cute.
hear you. It's crazy, though.
Yeah. All
right.
right.
What
Keeping it
else we
moving.
got?
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving,
New
keep it
stuff.
moving.
Oh yeah, this is great news. This is great stuff you're going to want to hear about right now.
Okay.
Especially with what you're up to this weekend.
Okay.
Did you see the Alaska Airlines video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the video?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so there was a
I try not to watch creepy videos about flights
Yeah.
when I got to fly in a day.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that one.
I don't want to get on a
Yeah.
plane. Every time I turn on the TV, is something crazier.
Yeah. A 15-year from USA Today, a 15-year-old boy who was on board Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 had his shirt sucked off when a Boeing 737 MAX 9 jet lost a door-sized section of its fuselage 6 minutes after takeoff from Portland, Oregon, one of the flight's passengers said on Instagram.
Woo. Well, you know what? We would have had a more dramatic video if it was a female shirt that was sucked off. All the guys would have been like, "Oh, we might die, but let's get a video."
Especially if it was Julia Roberts.
Yeah, it was Julia Roberts. We got a shot of her boobs finally. We got to see her shirt was sucked off. God, I can't. I have to get,
Sorry,
I gotta
I had
get
to-
on a plane in like 30 hours. I
There we
am
go.
not looking forward to all these problems with these planes that are going on.
Your Instagram, your socials will blow up if your shirt gets sucked off
If
on the
my
plane.
shirt gets sucked off.
Set your phone up for that, just like
That
just
is
in,
hilarious.
just in case,
Just in case, I'll have my
Yeah.
phone ready to go. Like I won't be holding on.
Yeah.
I may be sucked out of the plane, but I'll be like this. I'll be like one arm.
Oh, it's like that. What was that movie, Airplane, where they?
You stupid. See, you know what? That goes to show I got integrity because as a woman, I could do that right now.
Yeah.
Blow up.
Yes.
But no, that'll be a last desperate move.
Yeah.
When I'm like in my 60s or something,
Yeah.
I'll be like, she showed a boob. And they'll be like, that's my last hurrah.
That's
my
the last gasp.
Like, and at that time, anyone cares.
Oh God, they're being weird. I read it earlier, and now they're not letting me.
Oh no!
Give me 1 second.
Giving you 1 second.
Let me give
Oh
him
my
a
goodness.
fake email or
So,
something.
oh my God. So anyway,
I don't know if I'm gonna get that one. All right, sorry.
yeah, Matt missed another story, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Some of these
Okay.
times
Oh,
we're running these,
here's
and there they go.
here's from your people.
Here's from my people?
Your adopted people.
Who's my adopted people?
You'll see.
Okay.
From the Guardian, Florida school district pulls dictionaries for descriptions of the phrase sexual conduct.
Oh my God.
Officials say materials, including encyclopedias and other books, violate state laws signed by Governor Ron DeSantis. A Florida school district is facing a federal lawsuit after it decided to remove copies of dictionaries, encyclopedia, and other books because the works included descriptions of sexual conduct. The Escambia County School District, located in Pensacola, Florida, removed several dictionaries and encyclopedias from school libraries after school officials determined the books violated Florida law HB 1069.
Well, that's nice. You can still Google it. Like, I mean, like, first of all, how many kids do you know are looking at a dictionary and an encyclopedia in 2024? I mean, like, literally, we have Chat GPT.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Who is... What, like, 80-year-old went, you know, this is only old people who are doing this. This has got to be DeSantis age and up that would pull a dictionary and an encyclopedia because they found, like, it's like they're in there purposely looking for dirty words themselves because there's no kid that even knows what a dictionary is as opposed to dictionary.com. What kid has Encyclopedia Britannica?
Yeah.
Like, literally. When was the last time there was an encyclopedia that anybody even looked at? Like, I didn't even know they had encyclopedias.
My family had the knockoff ones. We had the Flunk and Wagnalls.
What's a Flunk and Wagnall?
Flunk and Wagnall. It was the cheap Encyclopedia Britannica.
My gosh.
Oh yeah.
And we had a nice collection.
Yeah.
And but like really, if you're a kid and you're in school, and you are going to look up anything,
You want to find out about sexual contact.
Oh my gosh! Well, this is insane.
Yeah, throughout a whole book.
Florida
throughout all the S books or whatever.
I have to go work there. I have to perform for people who throw out dictionaries, like literally, like, and then I'm supposed to be nice to them because someone's paying me. When as opposed to going like, what the hell is the matter? Like, we love DeSantis. I had a woman on a boat. She's like, DeSantis was in my 8th grade class, and here's a picture of him. I just travel with the group photos so I can show everybody. And you know what I mean? And the guy's like, hey,
that's the only reason that's the only reason she leaves the house is to brag about her DeSantis stories.
And then the husband's like, hey, we might have an Italian president. I'm like, yeah, great. That's, we had Mussolini and we ended up hanging him by his feet. We don't need something that's stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
America is stupid. We got a lot of ignorant people. Education is a big problem in this country, and then you're gonna take away the books and the dictionaries, like anybody's reading a book or a dictionary.
I mean, some people still celebrate Mussolini.
Well, I know who Nazis. Oh, I don't. Stop. Just because I have my grandfather's Mussolini medal in my closet doesn't mean that anyone's celebrating. If I was celebrating, it'd be on my wall, not putting me in this conflict of my grandfather won something. But he ran the carpools. He wasn't in the fascism. He ran the carpools. He fixed a couple of water trucks,
Yeah.
And then he gets a medal, and then I'm stuck with it. And what do you do? What do you do?
What are you gonna do?
It's okay. This country's going fascist anyway. Soon I'll be able to sell it at a high price. To the next DeSantis. the next DeSantis fan.
Yes. Okay, this is from Click Orlando. Man tried to get flight attendants to join Mile High Club on Spirit flight to Orlando from Louisville. Man accused of grabbing a flight attendant asked disturbing questions about the cockpit. That's not the... Orlando, Florida. A man on a flight from Louisville to Orlando was arrested after agents say he was disruptive on the flight, grabbing one flight attendant and asking her and another if they wanted to join the Mile High Club.
To join the Mile High Club is offensive enough, but to join the Mile High Club on a Spirit Airlines, talk about breaking the poor flight attendant's spirit. I was talking to a flight attendant on Spirit once. I was moving my bags in, and I said, I'm asking you this, but respectfully, because my best friend is a flight attendant with United. And she's like, yeah, she's with United. And then just like stared at me. I was like, "Oh God, I shouldn't have said that. I didn't want. Everything I say,
they like mean girls.
Everything I say sounds highfalutin. I didn't mean to say that. I just meant, I respect the flight attendant position. But then you want to say a Spirit Airlines flight. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't even do that. The water is like you can't even like drink. You need a beverage afterwards. You got to pay for it. The bathrooms are tiny. Have you been in a bathroom in the Spirit Airline?
Yeah, they're antiquated. They're the old planes that were that nobody else uses anymore.
That's insane.
Yeah, but and then was
talk about break your Spirit Airlines. No, I mean, maybe he was just trying to get his money's worth from the baggage that they charge for overages. Let me tell you something about these bags,
Yeah.
he's going to take his money back a different way.
Yeah.
They have, like, every flight does 50 pounds, except for if you're doing Frontier or Spirit.
Oh.
You do Frontier, Spirit. Avello might do this secretly, too, which they have, it's 40 pounds. So if you are 41 pounds, thinking that, first of all,
$800.
it's seriously,
Yeah.
it is $70 for the 40-pound bag.
For the $50 ticket.
But for the $50 ticket, if you go over by 1 pound, that one bag is now like $140
That's wild.
for 1 pound over.
I mean,
It is like I was watching people at the airport that I know that not used to traveling, and they just like 100 and what? Like their faces, like you could see people who took the airline because they're struggling, and they're going to see family that are in need help or whatever it is, and you go like, really? I mean, really? Like if you're gonna rip people off, do it up in their face, because you should do it in better off getting it like an American Airlines or United flight, paying a little bit more or double the price, and not getting the colossal bag fee, which is like an extra $200 that you cannot afford, and they're stuck at the front. It's awful.
This
just
occurred to me. Okay, well, they're concerned about 10 pounds on a bag, right?
Yeah.
And like, well, what if it's a 300-pound guy that's flying?
Oh, I'm sure they got a fee for that.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you got to pay for a double seat and extend a seatbelt.
Or okay, yeah, but it just occurred to me.
No,
Like,
they should let you pack by weight. If you're really skinny, you get to take a sandwich.
Yeah.
If you
Fortunately, if
you're my weight, you get a couple saddlebags.
yeah. Fortunately, if you do the double seat, you probably get 2 meals on the plane.
No, they don't. They don't. They don't even give you a meal on the plane.
Yeah,
Matt.
you got
You're referencing
you
1,000 years
You got
ago.
a debit card, the thing or whatever.
You don't get nothing. You don't get nothing. They give you like one little tiny weird cookie that you wouldn't eat anyway, and you're sitting there like.
Oh, my favorite thing on a flight where they say you can't use the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But the credit card machine works somehow.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
How's this
That's
happening?
crazy.
How's this happening?
I just hope I don't get sucked out the plane or my top be sucked off. I'm just so worried about that. I'm going to wear layers tomorrow.
She'll be going live at
Stupid.
Anyways.
All right.
all these the flight she check in okay.
I'm creepy, right? Creepy. It's just going to be the guy watching me that sexually harassed the Spirit Airlines.
Yeah, the guy. He's in a cell.
Spirit Airlines stalker.
I
I wonder if he does that, like he's a serial.
Yeah.
Low ticket flying guy.
low budget airline guy.
Budget airline
Yeah.
stalking.
Yeah.
Like sexual harasser.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, that's like his pickup bar.
Like
that's
New York had a famous masturbator. Do you know that was like
Oh, yeah.
riding on the trains?
Yeah.
And whacking off. I have a friend that caught him. She turned him in.
Yeah.
She had to show up for the
Yeah.
court's calling. Would you come to court to identify the masturbator?
So
What?
did he have to go to jail or something?
Like, yeah, you went to jail.
I'm surprised he didn't get off.
Sorry.
You gotta know.
Waka waka. All right, go on.
All right, here's my last one for
All
you.
right.
Here's my last one for you. This is from Scripps News. Scripps News Service. A former Mayo Clinic medical resident and poison specialist has been indicted on first and second degree murder charges in the fatal poisoning of his wife. A Minnesota grand jury charged Dr. Connor Fitzgerald Brown Bowman with first-degree murder premeditated with intent and second-degree murder with intent on January 4th, adding to the initial charge of the latter count per a statement from the Olmsted County Attorney's Office.
And this is why they say you can't take your work home with you. I don't think any other line. You can't take your homework. Don't take your work home with you.
Yeah.
Don't take your work home with you.
He was like the person that he was like always the expert witness.
This is exact poison. Turn it's such and such. Oh my god.
He was like the.
That's crazy.
He would be like the expert witness whenever there was a poison case.
Yeah. See, that was all I have to say. Yeah. I'm sure he really is the expert witness now. He will be like, sign him up. He just killed his wife. We know he knows how to do it.
I mean, and then his wife dies for poisoning.
That's what they should do. They should. All the guys that do this suspicious behavior.
Yeah.
They should use them in the case. Could you imagine calling them as the expert witness? Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I could kill my wife with 3 stabbings and a poison because I did it to 3 of my wives, and that's the reason why I'm in jail. So, if you want to know, can they commit this crime? Can you put this? It's crazy.
I
See,
mean-
don't date someone who has these kind of jobs.
Yeah.
That's why I would be a little suspect of what would lure that guy
Yeah.
to even want to do that job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I look at guys like that. This is why I'm single, and it's smart because I'm still here kicking. But you think about it.
Yeah.
You think about it, Matt. Like you'd be like, like why would this guy be a rodent killer? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like this. You can make choices.
What was his upbringing?
You can make choices,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, why would this person be
Yeah.
a poison expert?
Yeah, unless like his mother was bitten by a rat and then died. I could see where you're trying to get vengeance and come back or
Yes.
something. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
one. That's
Yeah.
one. But the rest of it, he just likes to murder. He likes to
Yeah.
murder little things.
They're the little things.
Yeah.
Like, you start to go. Like,
Yeah.
there's always that one kid at school that was like, I'm going to kill the frog. Like, why you got to kill the frog?
Yeah, I mean, why don't you just wait for the science class? Like
Yeah.
you're doing it at lunch, dude.
Yeah. There's always those. And then you got to really look at people's behavior. 'Cause
Yeah. Frying ants in the sun.
behavior- Yeah,
Yeah.
the frying ant guy.
Yeah.
We always had a frying ant guy in our neighborhood,
yeah,
too.
Every school did. Yeah.
And so, it's like, that's what the whole thing
There
is.
was a snotty booger kid. There was a frying ant kid.
a frying
there
ant
was
kid, yeah.
piss jeans. There was
Yeah.
every school had these kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like, it's, people say, there's a, what's the truth?
Mm-hmm.
With the Cat Williams and everything, what is the truth? And I had a wonderful teacher that taught me,
Mm-hmm.
he used to say, lots of 95% of the people in the world will lie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they lie to themselves.
Fair. That's fair.
And so you can't ever tell what's the truth unless you watch someone's behavior. Their behavior will tell them everything.
That's the truth.
Yeah. So that's where the truth is. So if you watch a guy and he's frying ants or he's like happily killing little things.
And
you know what I mean?
happily
Or,
doing these
Yeah,
things,
happily doing these things that he's going to pursue a career in it. And I'm the poison lover. Don't date them.
Yeah.
Don't marry them. They
Yeah.
might have he's got a great job. He's the poison expert. I mean, like
Yeah.
literally. Stupid. Well, I'm very grateful that we are back together on this podcast. Guys, if you can, follow us. The new name.
like it.
Like, follow, share.
Write a comment, write a review on Apple.
Write a comment, a review. In about 2 minutes, it's going to be turning to Maija Behave.
Yes.
And we will be sharing on. You got Matt at what's your social?
The fun Matt Lewis.
And me, if you want to find me, just put in Maija DiGiorgio because I am fighting with Meta. Somebody's got one account. The next one's got the $1 million Maija account. I got a TikTok that's got a funny MD. I got a TikTok that's got the Maija DiGiorgio. I got a Twitter that's... It's going nuts.
Google her. Google her.
Google me.
Maija.
Maija. Google me. You will
Yeah.
find it, but I'm sorry. It will be rectified, hopefully, in a week or so.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening. Stay positive, and we'll see you soon.
Don't date a poison specialist.
Don't date a poison specialist.
Yes.